My name is Mike Rosica, and this is noteconference.com. I've had this network together now for about 6 or 7 years, and this is part of our webinar series that we've been creating over the years, and we're trying to hit on different topics. For this year, we're leaning a little bit more towards having guest appearances on things that we think are going to be useful to the group, and so far it's been good. The last one we had Victoria on, and she helped us work out the numbers. That recording's available. If you guys are interested in looking at that, just send me an email to mike@noteconference.com. We'll help you out, get you hooked up with that. And so I just wanted to go through this little disclaimer here that I have on top of every one of these webinars. We're not trying to give you any tax or legal advice or investment advice in case we touch on any specific deals tonight. We're here strictly for educational and entertainment purposes only. And if you do need any type of real professional help, by all means, contact us, and we'll get you in touch with the right people that we think you should be talking to. So with that, tonight I have a guest on. His name is Alberto Arches Sanchez, and he has actually developed a really nice software package that I would like to have him review with us. Alberto, you there?
I'm here, Mike.
Hey, great. But Alberto, I want to turn the presentation over to you, and I want to turn this over to you, Alberto. Are you ready to take control of this thing?
Absolutely, Mike.
Okay, great. There you go. So, Alberto, could you do us a favor first, and let us know who you are and how long you've been in the business and what you've been up to these past couple of years. I've known Alberto for, I guess, going on 4 or 5 years now. Probably one of the nicest guys in the note business, and we've done some trades together. I really enjoy his professionalism, his information, his openness towards this business, and Alberto, I just want you to know that as well.
Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. Yes, as Mike mentioned, I've been in the note business for about 5 years in various capacities. We both learned from the same mentors, same people. And about 2 years ago, my background is in technology. Before I got into notes, I worked for a variety of Wall Street firms in various capacities. I worked for Citibank, I worked for Credit Suisse, and a few other boutique Wall Street firms. And when I got into the notes business, I saw that there wasn't a whole lot of software to manage what I call it the mid-tier notes, right? So as you folks know, there's some products out there that allow you to manage your notes individually. The examples that come to mind is T-Value and NoteSmith. Those are two very capable software packages, but they're only like single user. And then on the top end, you have something like Altiforce, and there's another one called Calyx software. But those are for the big banks, for the people that have thousands and tens of thousands of notes. And I didn't see a whole lot of products that addressed the mid-tier. So if somebody has 30, 40, 50 notes, 500 notes, 1,000 notes, there wasn't a whole lot of products there. So basically, we came up with a software package that's multi-user. It's also cloud-based, meaning you can manage your notes from anywhere in the world as long as you have an internet connection, and that's where Notedashboard came in. So initially, we started using it for our own funds, and as the word got out, people started asking me to let them into the system. So that brings me to another topic, the fact that Notedashboard is, since it's web-based, security is high on our list, right? So number one, it's SSL encrypted, meaning all the information that goes back and forth, all the sensitive information that goes through a secure channel with 128-bit encryption. And also it's role and company enabled, meaning when you log into the Notes dashboard, you're going to see your notes and only your notes for the company or companies that you set up under Note Dashboard, and you'll never see like anybody else's notes, and nobody else will ever see your notes. It has a wide variety of points at the different layers where we do partition of the data. And in addition to that, it's role-based, right? So what that means is you can give various access to various users based on their roles. So if you have a workout specialist and you don't want to give them any access to your accounting, you can set it up that way. If you have an investor and you only want to give them view only to the workout so that they can see the progress of the notes and so forth, you can do that as well. So I'll show you in a little bit how you can set that up. So without further ado, and I'm going to log into the system so that you guys can start seeing how the magic happens. So I'm going to log in with my ID. If anybody has any questions, we can open up to the floor, right, Mike? Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, I'd appreciate it. There is a questions bar in the dashboard, and if you could type your question into that way, I'll be able to read the questions through, and we can do it that way.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, so that's great. So if everybody sees the chat box, that's the way that we'll do it.
No, it's actually a questions box. And
questions box.
Yeah, there's a questions box. That way, I don't want to interrupt your presentation, Alberto.
Okay.
I'd like to go through the whole thing. You know, I don't want somebody saying, "Well, how many notes can I board?" Well, we'll get to that, and so if we can do it that way, that'd be great.
Okay, fantastic. So I just logged into the system. The first screen that normally comes up is the borrower search, since that's basically what we're going to be doing most of the time, managing borrowers. But let me go really quick and show you what I was talking about the role-based security and the company-based security settings. So if I wanted to change the role given to certain users, right, I'm going to search and see what kind of users I have. So let's say, for example, I select this company here, Notedashboard Capital. Let's see what users are there. It gives me a list of people that are here. I'm going to select myself, and let's see what kind of settings I have, right? So a little bit of information about myself. What's my parent company? What's my name? What's my password, and so forth. Then the roles part. That's where you would set up how and what kind of capabilities you want to give to this user. Right? So, for example, if you only wanted to give them access to don't give them vendors, right? You would say NA, and that would turn off the vendor capabilities. When the next time that they come in, this vendor menu would be turned off, right? Or I can say, well, for the parent companies, I only want to give them view only, right? So when I go next time that I log in, and if I log out, it'll show me the companies, the parent companies, but it won't allow me to modify the companies or to add new parent companies. And this add parent company would disappear, right? So that's pretty much it about as far as role capabilities are, right? You can turn anything on and off, and it's pretty granular, right? Now let's see about the parent companies. So as you can see here, this user in particular belongs to this company, Notedashboard Capital. Let's go see how this parent company looks like, right? So I'm going to look for, just to continue with the example, I'm going to look for Notedashboard Capital. I'm going to search it. Okay, there's the company. Let's look at the detail, right? So again, certain things, certain attributes for this parent company, how are the arrears going to be calculated for this particular company, what font do I want to use for my letters and so forth, right? But another key consideration here is it shows the allowed users for this company. So I'm going to click on this tab, and these are all the users that can access this company. So if I ever wanted to give access to anybody else, then I would just go ahead and add them here. I would put their email there and submit it, and they would give them the access. If I want to turn off that access, all I have to do is go in here, click active equals no, update, and it will turn off that that person, right? Now there's a difference. There's another kind of users that we can put into the company, and these are called the specialists, the workout specialists, who can be assigned tasks, right? So you might have 10 users in your company, but only 5 of them are really doing your workouts. So you wouldn't want to see everybody show up in the people that can be assigned as a workout specialist. So this is where you would put that information in. And also, we have the concept of child companies, right? So just like you would, I don't know the structure for the people that are on the call, how they set up their companies, right? But one thing that, and maybe you'll agree with me, Mike, right? One thing that we've seen is as soon as you start a company and you get a few notes in it, like say 20, 30 notes, you probably want to start new companies as you keep on getting new notes, right? The reason for that is that if you ever get into some sort of situation where one of your companies gets sued by a homeowner or so forth, right? If you have multiple units, multiple companies, multiple entities, they'll have a harder time reaching the assets of multiple entities, right? So that's how we recommend our users to set their things up. For that reason, that's something that people ask all the time. Can I set up multiple entities, right? So this is where you would set that up and have the various companies. Now, in addition to that, things can get pretty complicated pretty quickly, right? You might have, you might start a company with Joey, right? And you buy 50 notes with him, and then you started up with another company with Billy. And Billy and you also have another 50 notes, right? Well, the first user, you as the common partner, you want to be able to see all 100 notes, but you want Billy to see only his 50 and Joey only his 50. So you can definitely set that structure up with the way that we have it set up. Now, once you get that done with all the roles and companies and so forth, now you can start managing your users. So this is the how my search would look like when I'm searching for all my notes. And one of the fields that you can search by is by the parent company, right? So again, this are all the companies that I have access to, all the parent companies that I have access to, right? Now, even though I have 10, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 companies that I have access to, I'm not going to be able to keep on the top of my head all the borrowers that belong, Mr. Smith belongs to company A and Mr. Martinez belongs to company B, right? So you don't have to necessarily select the parent company first. You can just put in a last name or a first name or whatever any other criteria you have here, and it'll come up with the people that match that criteria. So in this case, I'm going to look for the last name Doe, and it gave me all the borrowers that have last name Doe. As you can see here, this are made up accounts. Social Security number is 99999. I didn't want to show any live information during the demo, but this is like the first screen, or actually one of the views that you'll see when you look for your borrowers. I don't know if we're going to have time to look at some other views and schemes that we have to show the information.
Hey, listen, this is no rush, Alberto. This is very important. Like the name of your software implies, this is the dashboard that you're going to go to run your business. So whatever time it takes you to go through this thing correctly and not cut any corners, if people want to jump off, that's fine. This thing will be recorded. So take your time and please hit all the points that you think are key.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So this is one of the views that you can see your borrowers in. Let's go. You said that, Mark, right?
I just lost you for a second.
Okay. Okay. So this is the detail view. So once I brought up the VARs that match the criteria that I entered, I can go into the different detail. So this is just basically all the nitty-gritty, everything you can think of about your borrower, right? Like social security number, date of birth, what's co-borrower, what's the workout specialist that's assigned to this, what's their contact information, what is their property address, if they have a mailing address that's different than the property address, the accounting section, right? Very important. What does the homeowner owe at this point, right? So the borrower expects us to have this information at our fingertips, and so it's real live data. The second that you log in, it recalculates everything for you as of that, basically as of that date, right? So if you look here at the arrears, this is on based on calculated on a daily basis. So all you really have to enter in is your last payment date, your unpaid balance, your note interest rate, and your monthly P&I, and it will calculate everything for you on the fly: the reinstatement, the payoffs, the fees, etc. The reason that there's two fields, P&I and total payment, is in the case of if you're managing first trust deeds or first mortgages, then you can put in the P&I separately from the total monthly payment, and obviously the payoff and arrears and so forth will be calculated based on the appropriate amount, which would be the P&I.
Mm-hmm.
Unpaid interest, monthly fees, right? So these are all inputs on the left-hand side, and for the most part on the right-hand side, these are all calculated fields. The original accounting, on the original note, what was the accounting? Maybe you cut the homeowner break and you changed the P&I, right? But you still want to keep track of the original numbers. What are the senior lien information, senior lien balance, and so forth. And then you can also keep the most current home value in the screen. As you'll see, you actually have the capability to keep a history of home values. We'll see some of those screens later on. But you can actually, once you update the home values, it transfers over to here, and it'll calculate your FME. Just really quick, FME is fair market equity, right? So that would be your fair market value minus the equity of the first mortgage. That gives you your FME. So in this case, it's a pretty sweet note. It's got a lot of equity left for my second lien. You can also and actually, you asked me about free stuff, Mike, right? Let me talk briefly about one thing that I'm going to offer folks that just even if you don't sign up, I'm going to offer a service, right, where we have the capability to, especially if you're a user of the software, but I'm going to open it up for the people that went to the call to put their notes on a note exchange that we have, right? In order to put a note in the note exchange, all you have to do is give it a price, right? So let's say that I price it at like $5,000, right? And mark it available for sale, right?
Okay.
The second I do that, the note shows up. It's going to show up in our note exchange. So let me bring that up really quick here, and so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. If you go to Notedashboard.com and you go to the note exchange, right, you can actually see that we have some of our users of the software have notes for sale, right? So what I'm giving in this phone call is, for the first time ever, I'm giving people the capability to put notes into the note exchange for free at no cost, right? So basically, the way that it's going to work is people put their notes for sale, and they'll be contacted, right? So we have a pretty active community. We have a mailing list of about 2,000 people, and people buy and sell notes here all the time. So these are some of the notes. The one that I just brought up right now, right? See, this is something that I want to touch on here. Some of our users, right, they'll post notes for sale, right? And obviously, I have no control about the pricing that they put and so forth, right? So number one, this is an example, a really quick example of what not to do when you post your note for sale on the exchange. the first thing that they didn't do was they didn't put an image, right? So if there's no image of the property, that's not a good idea, right? To show what the property looks like. Some of these properties are pretty nice, right? So why not put it up, right? The second thing that I see here is this is a first lien position, so it's not horrendous, right? But the cash on cash is 866, right? And when people buy first position notes, or when people buy notes that are performing, right, they're going to look, the first thing that they're going to look at is the yield, right? So even though this is a first position note, right, for the world that we live in, which is reperforming first, seller finance first, and so forth, this thought has been lingering in the exchange for a while, right? So what I always recommend people is, put notes for sale if you're serious about selling them. But again, I really have not much control on what they put or not put. But I have a feeling this note's going to linger for a while on the exchange. So let's go back. I just click aside there. That's all I had to do, right, in order to post my notes for sale, was to give it a price and mark it available for sale, right?
Okay. So now it's going to pull all the street, the address, and all the other information automatically.
Automatically, absolutely correct.
There's nothing to build. There's no fields to fill out or anything.
Exactly. You already filled that out, right? And you touched on a really important point, Mike, right? One thing that we pride ourselves in the Notedashboard, right, is the ability and the capability of not having to enter stuff twice anywhere, right? So if you enter a payment in the payment section, that automatically will recalculate your node unpaid municipal balance, and it'll propagate it throughout the system, right? If you enter a home value somewhere, right, for the latest home value, it'll propagate it to the top level to update your latest system, and it'll put it also in the history, right? So I think that's something that's really important, because if you have 30, 40, 50 nodes, and you're still using Excel and QuickBooks and Notesmith to manage your notes, right? It's really easy for things to get out of hand when you have to enter values into 3 places, right? And then maybe you also have a servicer, so your servicer has a different value. So the less entry that you have to do in different places, and the less duplication they have, the less prone you're going to be making errors. And in our business, that's not only is it important and it increases your profitability and so forth, but with things as they are, with regulation and so forth, and hey, how do you keep your systems? Are they accurate, right? I would always put if I'm going up against the regulators, right, and they ask me the question, how do you keep track of your notes? And my answer is, well, I have this Word file where I keep all my accounting, right, or I have an Excel file where I keep all my accounting. They're not going to look too kindly on that, right, because Excel has like 0 validation. It's prone to errors and duplication and so forth. So I think that's, if nothing else, that's a really big selling point.
Cool.
One of the things that we do, and we'll get to that in a little bit, all the letters have the latest and greatest wording that the CFPB requires for disclosures and so forth. And not only that, but it's really easy to change the wording. Like if the CFPB comes with new wording for the footers and disclosures, it's really easy to change that.
Great.
So that's about it for this main screen. There's a bunch of other screens that you can, this is like the core screen, right? But there's a lot of other screens that you can use to keep track of your more additional information. Right? So, for example, if you want to keep track of the forbearance and bankruptcy information, right? We have a page for that. If you want to keep track of give me 1 second. I have to log out and log in because we went to the Notedashboard, so that changed things a lot. Okay. Okay, so there's my borrower.
Mm-hmm.
And now let's look at the additional information. So I can keep track of the forbearance and bankruptcy information, right? If the borrower filed for bankruptcy, I can keep track of the case ID, what kind of bankruptcy it is. If I work out a forbearance agreement with the homeowner, right, I can put the various payments in here, right? And you'll see all this information is going to get used later on to generate your different letters and your different contracts and agreements that you will have with the homeowner. You can also keep track of your home values, right? So as I said, you can keep a history of the home values, right? So in this case, I have one entry. If you want to add information, if you want to retrieve the latest information, you can just click on this link, and it'll retrieve the latest values. Or you can go to the different websites and get it from there as well, right? So I didn't have to like retype in anything. I just clicked on the Zillow link. Okay, it looks like in this particular case for this address, it didn't find this address, right? But you can see the address up here, 100. Oh, I see what it is. This is a complete, yeah, this is a completely made up address, so that's why it couldn't find it on Zillow.
Sure.
Right? There's no 77 zip code.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, Alberto, I spend my days bouncing around through 3 different softwares, totally redundant information I'm typing in, and just that saving of time alone. And I'm not here to push this software by any means, folks. I'm just sitting here as an observer like everyone else, and I can just tell you from my experience that I am in my ACT software, and then I'm in my Notesmith software, and I'm printing out my my invoices and my receipts when I receive payment from that software. And then I'm in Time Value 5 creating my amortization software, and then I'm in a regular Google Chrome checking out my ePraisal, my Zillows on property values. And so for me personally, to see Google Maps right on here on this map, on this page, it's, that seems to be powerful. And I actually have someone else on the line tonight that I'd like to introduce. Alberto, you think we're ready yet to bring someone on to ask some kind of hardcore questions about maybe some of the things that you haven't covered that may be of a concern to a good-sized note investor?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Okay, so we actually have Mark on the line. Hey, Mark, I just unmuted you. Are you there?
Yep, I'm still here.
Hey, how are you?
Okay.
Hey, listen, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on tonight. I wouldn't mind if you could kind of explain your situation to the gang here.
Okay.
About your recent note acquisitions and some of your concerns and where you'd like to be 6 months from now.
Yeah. Just sure. Okay, so so my name is Mark Melso, and I've been in this business of non-performing note investing for about 3 years. Just about a year ago, I formed another company with 2 other partners, and we all have similar experiences. And we pooled our capital together and made a fairly large pool purchase back around the middle of the year, and they were non-performing junior liens. And so at that point when we made the purchase, now we're scrambling to build out our systems. And we've spent quite a bit of time trying to pick a package like this. We didn't see this one or pick this one, but we're looking for a package that will make our lives easier. I didn't mention this, but the 2 partners and I were all in different locations. 2 of us are in Pennsylvania, but about an hour apart, and the other partner's up in New York. And so another challenge we had was how are we going to make it feel like we're in offices next door. And so for that, we use another software package to do that. But Alberto, when you were going over this, I was looking at our challenges and how we're trying to handle it with our software, and I wanted to see if maybe your software makes it a little easier. So why don't I start? So I see all of these different screens and pages, but do we have the ability to add and change and alter fields to customize it the way we would like? How easy is it to do that?
It's pretty easy, Mark. Having said that, right, yeah, you can definitely do that. That's not a problem, right? But at the same time, what I recommend people is to not get too crazy on that, right? Because there's a reason that there's certain fields on the screen, right? So at some point, it can kind of get a little bit crazy if you add too many things, right? And I have some experience on that, right? Having worked on big systems in Wall Street and so forth, right? Like that's one of the first things that people have. Hey, I want to add my own fields, right? What happens with that, right? It's like what happens when after different upgrades to the system, right? So yeah, what I used to work on this system called PeopleSoft. That was pretty cool. It exactly allowed you to do that, right? To be able to add your own fields, change, and so forth. And then when there was upgrades, there was always issues, right? So let's say, for example, you decide you want to add an address 3 field, right? Just to give an example. Well, all the letters and so forth depend on the addresses, right? You're always going to want to display the whole address, right? But now I added this address 3 field that it's not going to get displayed in the letters because it wasn't in the original software. So you see what I'm saying? So yeah, it's not hard to add custom fields, but you want to be careful to not stray too much from the vanilla implementation.
Right.
Because you can kind of tend to shoot yourself in the foot by doing that. So
okay, understood. So that segues into a real good second question, and you touched on it. But it's very important when we're to try to keep things manageable, just like you said, that you don't have to recreate or input things more than once. So I heard you mention, I just want to make sure, so we have the ability to generate documents from this, like a RESPA hello letter or a loan accounting letter, if we wanted to present that to either the homeowner or to an attorney if we were initiating foreclosure, or a payoff letter. Do we have and I saw a workout agreement or what you call a forbearance agreement. It can populate that. Does it also have the ability to, say, populate, let's call it a reach out letter, where you just want to reach out to the homeowner one last time before maybe you pull the trigger on initiating foreclosure? Does it have the ability to populate those fields so you can easily print those types of forms and letters?
Okay, let me show you how that would happen, right? It's basically, I'm thinking 3 clicks, right? So 1 click, these are the letters that are available, that are at my disposal, right? It's actually going to be 2 clicks, right? Initial letter. There it is, right? So because I had everything already filled in, right, now I generated that letter automatically, right? If I want to email that letter, 1 click, that letter has been emailed out. Email has been sent.
Okay.
Right? So yeah, I mean, it's the letter generation is super easy, super quick. So I want to generate a loan modification agreement. There it is, right? With the wording, right, you can customize the wording, right? So in this particular case, it is agreed that the note will be reinstated as follows, right? And you can put in your own wording, whatever you want. Like it could be 5 paragraphs, it could be 1 paragraph. So you could just say, hey, look, the original terms say whatever the wording is, right? Appeal letters, allonges, I mean, everything is here.
Okay,
But additionally, you can create your own custom letters. So that's also possible. You know, again with the custom letters, right? Back to your point of adding custom fields, right? One thing that one stage that we're in right now is we're taking feedback from users right now as we take that very, very seriously, right? So if there's something that's not in the software, right, maybe you can add it on your own, like add a custom field or add a custom letter, right? Or just reach out to us, right? And maybe it's something that will benefit the software, right? So we have like pretty big, you know, quick turnaround, right? When people ask for features and we see value in the feature, we turn it around as quickly as possible. I mean, even if it's not something that we're too keen on putting in, I mean, we're pretty good about customizations and so forth. So yeah, that's something that we value highly. Our users' feedback to make the software better and better. A lot of the features that you're seeing, you know, this custom letters, some of the letters that you see here, these are features that users have requested, and we have put into the software.
Sounds good. That sounds good. Alberto, how about this? Do we have the ability to upload the collateral? So it's nice to have to look at the copy of the note and the mortgage and say the mortgage assignments with each borrower as you need it. Do we have the ability to upload it for each of the borrowers?
Yes. What we did with that, Mark, is we basically didn't want to reinvent the wheel. Right? There's a lot of document management systems that are out there that are really good, right? Such as Dropbox, such as Google Drive, such as Box.net, right? So what we provide is the ability to set up a link to those systems.
Okay.
And so yeah, again, you know, just one click, and there's a Dropbox that I assigned to this user. Right? That's my link for this user. I can go into. You can organize your folders in whichever way you want. Right? In this particular case, we just have a credit report, official documents, and communications. Let me go with the other one. So here's my notes. Here's my chain of assignments. Here's everything related to this. This borrower.
Don't open any credit reports.
Close this, and I'm back in business. Say that again? Don't open the credit report.
I said don't open any credit reports. I have to kill it.
Correct. And
how about,
all I have to go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't know you weren't finished. Go ahead, Alberto.
Yeah, I just want to show you really quick how I put that link, right? So all I did was there's two sections actually. Right here, document location, I just put my Dropbox links, and you know, then I can always click it and it will always be there. Go ahead, Mark.
Okay. So how about Ticklers? It's really important for us to, when we complete one task with a particular borrower, that we mark it as complete, but then set up the next one. So that when we're looking at our day, we can see all the things that need to be done. Do you have a Tickler system here?
Yes. The way that it works is basically this is another big screen in the system, right? So you have the ability to add comments for different users, and then comments can be converted into tasks, assignments, and reminders, right? So if I wanted to just do a quick task, you know, something, for example, I had a conversation with borrower, right? Or left a voicemail, whatever it is, right? I can just put it in and submit it, and that's like something that happened, right? An event that occurred, right? What if I want to assign something to someone, right? Mike, please call the borrower, right? And I can assign it to Mike Rosica, right? If Mike Rosica is not in the system, I can put him in, Mike at conference.com, right? And submit it, right? If I wanted to add it to the calendar, I can do the same thing here. Court date coming up, right? and I add it to the calendar, and it automatically adds it to my Google Calendar, right? With our name and so forth, save it, and it's done, right? Based on the date that I assign it here.
I like
so
that.
I can give it a due date, right? I can also do different actions, right? So you were mentioning about like ticklers, right? I want to go through a certain list of things that need to be done, right? So I can say send the postcard. Whatever task needs to be done can be assigned here, right?
Okay.
Mark, send out postcard, right?
Okay, so now so post that, and let me see what it looks like in the calendar.
Okay, sure.
So that I see it, will it identify it as James Doe?
Birth date, let's see, foreclosure date. So the borrower name is James Doe, right?
Right.
Here. And I put a foreclosure date. I should say sale date. Let's say sale date. Sale. Location of the event. Okay, looks like we had some issue here. I should have put it here.
Okay, but I do see James Doe. I do see that.
Yeah. You should have said sale date here. But yeah, so I'm glad that we caught this actually. Like I'll have this fixed by I'll have somebody fix this by tomorrow.
Okay, but it does say James Doe. You didn't have to put that in. That's great.
Correct. Yeah, no, and you shouldn't have to put anything in. I mean, the idea is that you type it in once, it's done, right? I mean, look, you don't have to keep on retyping. That's the idea. So I'm glad that we caught that issue.
And then what about? Okay, my last question would be: what about if we, whenever I set up a relationship, I always plan for the end, and hopefully, and hope it never comes. But what if we wanted to say goodbye? Is there ability to dump out of this so that we don't lose everything?
Can you? There was a little bit of an echo, and I didn't get the question very good.
Yeah.
Maybe re-explain a little bit.
Yeah. If we say we found maybe we kind of found another package that suited our needs better. I don't know. Whatever the end of our relationship would be. Is there an easy way to get the information out of this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can import and export information very easily, and there is actually like no contract, right? So if you sign up tomorrow and you decide in 2 days later or 5 days later or a month later that you don't like it, yeah, you can terminate at any time, Mark. Absolutely.
Right. So the information gets dumped into what a CSV file or something like that. Like what? How does it get exported out?
It gets exported to an Excel file.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
It looks good.
And I'm glad that. Yeah, I appreciate that, Mark. And yeah, that's another good point too. Like we're backing up, again related to security, right? We're backing up the data on a daily basis. This software resides on something that's called Amazon Web Service, which is actually a very redundant, very robust, they call it elastic service, right? What that means is that if you all of a sudden you get 1,000 loans that you want to upload, right? And like for some reason it creates all kinds of traffic, right? The Amazon Web Service will handle that load without any issues. I mean, actually something like that where you're uploading 1,000 nodes or you're doing something that we might think is crazy, Amazon Web Service, for those guys, this would be just not even a drop in the bucket. It would be like a mini millimeter, thing, right? Because I mean, this is what they're using to run their.
It's a farm.
All kinds of services, right? So yeah, I mean, it's very elastic, it's very powerful, it's very redundant.
Okay, so Alberto, let me jump in here for a second. So let's say we had 500 loans. There's still residing in the folder, how do we actually do the inputting? Do we sit there paper document by document, or what's the process?
So there's two main ways that I can think of to do it, right? One is, yeah, you can just add the bar, right? And it's very easy to add a bar. Let me show you really quick. You would just go to the add screen, and you can just add it there, right? But the other way to do it is we have a template, right? So if you're adding 2 or 3 or 10 bars, it might not be a bad idea to just do it through the manual process and do it one by one, right? But if it's something where it's 20, 30, 50, 100, 1,000 notes, we have a template that you can fill out, and we'll upload the notes for you. Normally, there's a fee to upload many notes, but as a service to your callers and to the Note Conference members, we're going to waive that fee for anybody that signs up in this call. And in addition, if they sign up, there'll be like a lifetime setup, right? We'll never charge for uploading notes going forward. So yeah, we just fill out a template, upload the notes, and good to go. Actually, I just did another couple hundred today from one of our existing customers, and it was pretty smooth process, and everything is uploaded now for all his notes.
It was actually done in one day?
Oh yeah. I mean, well, the quote unquote hard part is to fill out the template, right? Obviously, some fields are really easy to fill out, right? For example, on a field like the note owner, right? If the 200 notes are owned by the same company, you can just fill that all the way down, right? Mm-hmm. But if it's something like unpaid balance or something, right, you might have to do a little bit of rejiggering to get that filled out. Hopefully, you got a tape from the seller, right, that you can use that as your starting point, and that's going to simplify the process. But,
so the template is actually a CSV file as well?
It's an Excel file. And the hard part is just making sure that everything looks good in the template. But once everything looks good, it's like a 10-minute process to upload it. So the hard part is just to get everything nice and clean in the Excel sheet so that it can suck it up good.
Great. Go ahead, Mark. That was one of my main questions.
Okay. Yeah. So let's say that we sell a note through your exchange, and now it's a matter of to complete the collateral file, downloading the servicing notes. Is it easy to download the servicing notes so we can include that in the file?
Yes. Again, it's just a matter of doing an export, and it'll export it to Excel, and yeah, you can give that to your folks. I mean, hopefully you'll sell them and start using the Notedashboard, and we don't have to export it out of Notedashboard. But if that's not the case, then yeah, you can export it pretty easily.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you, Alberto.
Yeah,
my pleasure, Mark.
I really, I mean, it answers a lot of questions for me. My main concern, I've been out, I don't know if you know, Alberto, you follow some of my emails or not, but I found that my ACT software, I've outgrown it. It was the same thing that PPR was using. I don't know what they use anymore. And, that ACT was growing on my hard drive as well because of all the documents that I was saving, not taking advantage of Dropbox. I totally outgrew it, and so that's where I'm at right now, having all this in one place, and like I said before, the name of your software is actually the way that I look at it, that it is a dashboard, and it's everything that you need to drive the car. So. Right. So no, I'm definitely impressed.
Thanks, sir. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely trying to address that sweet spot, right, where when you get to 30, 40, 50, 100 notes, it really kind of gets too big for one person and too big for the one license softwares, right? The Notesmiths, the P-Values of the world. And so we're trying to address that spot. We definitely saw a gap in the market. And, there's definitely a lot of other software companies out there. Calyx is one of them. The other one that comes to mind is Altisource. But, I mean, those are products that cost, tens of thousands of dollars. And they, as you were saying, Mark, they probably will customize software for you to your special needs. But there's a gap in the mid-tier where, when you get to like a hundreds of thousand nodes, I think that there's definitely a need in the market. And if nothing else, I mean, I think that the one thing that it kind of keeps me up at night all the time, right? It's like, am I in compliance and am I keeping accurate records so that if somebody comes and knocks on my door tomorrow, I'm going to be able to give them all the information accurately and consistently to whoever comes knocking on the door, like be it a Maryland regulator or the CFPB or unfortunately, that's the reality of our business right now, right? Like, it is getting tougher and tougher with these regulators, and they're kind of trying to see how they can catch us doing something bad. I just heard of this one case with one of my friends where they actually got to the very end of the litigation, the foreclosure, and so forth, and they had a hearing at the end. And what they're giving them a hard time on is the fact that the allonges and the notes were not stapled together. I guess that the rule is, the allonges have to be, quote unquote, permanently affixed to the notes, and because they were not together, they had a hearing for 2 hours and making a big brouhaha out of that. So yeah, I mean, it is getting tougher and tougher from
compliance
judges out there and regulators and so forth. So the more ammunition you can take away from them, the more ammunition you can put on your back pocket, the better off you're going to be.
Sure. Now your software is will also. I'm just kind of glancing through some of these questions here. Well, yeah. Let me run through a few of these. Mark, I'm sure you have some more questions. We'll get to them in a minute. But Alberto, do you have personal access to our notes if we were to use your software? Is there a firewall there?
That's a great question. We do have like 2 developers, Mike, that have access to the information, right? And the reason for that is because we do have questions all the time from the users. Hey, like, this is not showing up or that's not showing up. And every once in a while, we do have to like go look at the backend data and see how things were set up, right? I think that the argument for that, right, is somebody is going to have access to that, right? So if you upload notes to FCI, if you upload notes to Madison Management, if you upload notes to any servicer that you're using, they kind of have to have access to that information to be able to service you and help you properly, right? Mm-hmm. Having said that, when you sign up for Notedashboard, we do have a very, very tight agreement that we sign with our users, right, saying we will never. I can't recite it verbatim, right? Basically, we will never misuse your information. We will never share your information with anybody. And again, only 2 select people in the company have access to that. And the only purpose for it is to be able to troubleshoot any problems that you might have with your data.
Sure. Yeah, I thought it was a very important, good question too, by one of my highly respected students. So the guy knows how to ask questions. I guess one of the biggest reasons for that question, I would assume, is the privacy of where these notes were actually purchased and the purchase price that they were purchased for, and the sensitivity of the credit reports and that that type of information being held highly confidential.
Right. Right. So yeah, as far as credit reports, right? again, we're only using Dropbox, we're only using Google Drive. We have an interface to those systems, so that data we have no access to, right? That's on your Dropbox, that's on your Google Drive, so we'll never be able to access it. We just set up the link, right?
Oh, I see.
So if you put a link to Dropbox and you put the link that requires your login, right?
Password,
you're going to have to log in into your Dropbox. As far as purchase price, right? Yeah, the two main developers have access to that information, but I wouldn't, as you know, Mike, this is a very, very small community, right? Like the world of first, the world of seconds. If word ever got out that hey, Joey Notedashboard or Alberto Notedashboard misused this information, it would get out pretty quickly, and I definitely don't want to get that kind of reputation. I mean, that's not something that I want that spread around. Plus, you're legally protected, right, because of the confidentiality agreement that we're going to sign.
Sure. Okay, great. Okay, so as far as your first lien, I know that you're very oriented to the second lien world, as I am as well. Your software will have no problem handling first lien as far as taxes escrowed and all of the insurance, property insurance, and all that stuff to be handled within your software as well.
Correct. Yeah, we've started to get people that want to use this for their first liens, and they have had no problem setting up escrow, setting up suspense payments. That's all. That capability is already in the software. Setting up your taxes and your insurance and so forth. It's all there. Yes.
Sure. Perfect. Okay. Let's see. Patrick, thanks for that. That was Dave's question. Patrick, I saw the current accounting tab, but can you check what it is in the future? Often attorneys ask what the payoff will be at the end of the month, for example. So it's a moving target. You're trying to keep up with the accounting, and so where are you at with that?
I got you. Okay, so that's a great question. So, and I think I understand. Let me kind of repeat. I'm going to reword it and let me sure that I got it right.
Well, let me say it again. Maybe that'll help. I saw that the current accounting tab. I saw the current accounting tab, but can you check what it is in the future? Okay, Mark, I'm getting a lot of speaker noise there. I just put you on mute for a minute, Mark. Okay, so in Notesmith, for example, I have a payoff date for March, a payoff date for April, and a payoff date for May. All three of those payoff date amounts are obviously different as time goes on. So it's a moving target. Notesmith just calculates it out for the next 3 or 6 months. I forget exactly what it is. I just printed one of those out today. Does your software handle that type of feature?
Got it. Yeah, actually, you kind of caught me there, Mike, because that's a feature that's lacking, and I'm going to make a note to put it in the next release. So yeah, you get a call from the attorney, and he says, I want to pay off good through February 15th, right? And not today. That's something that we don't have as of today, but I promise you that that next time that I see you, we'll have it in there. And I'm actually putting a lot of pressure on me because I know I'm going to see you Saturday at Nick's events. But yeah, that's something that we've been meaning to put in, and it's not there yet, and it's a pretty important feature that is lacking. So yeah, I'll make sure to have that in there by Saturday, Mike.
Great, thanks. Let's see, what other, Alberto, do you see yourself being a servicer in the future?
That's a good question. Not at this time. My view on that, my vision, is to be able to service and help servicing companies and medium-sized investors manage their notes. So yeah, I definitely don't want to get into that business. I don't foresee it at all. We definitely have our hands full with Notedashboard, so that's not something that I aspire to or look into getting.
And your own notes as well, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, someone had asked what software this would replace if I was coming on board. Right now, I use ACT software, which is a contact servicing software. That allows me to store all of my documents on my hard drive. So if I ran a BPO and it's 20 pages, I could scan that, save that into ACT, do all of my borrowing contact notes in ACT, and then I created my own little dashboard to fill in the different fields. If a borrower then makes a payment to me, I have to open up my Notesmith accounting software and record the payment into that, so there's redundancy there. I have all the information that's in ACT as far as the original note, what the current balance is, what the arrears are, all that good information in front of me in ACT. And then I have to go into my Notesmith and recreate that note with all that information again. There was my UPB, what's my arrears, all of the recordation that I do. Once I record the payment in Notesmith and create a receipt, send that out to the borrower, I then go back to ACT and say that I did that function for the month of January. Okay, so that one's taken care of. So I'm bouncing back and forth constantly. Now you're saying that you have all of the documents available to me, the RESPA letters, all the different letters that you guys have gone ahead and created. I am constantly opening up my Word document, creating a new document, or updating an existing document that I have for my RESPA letters, changing all the dates, changing the borrower's name, making sure I get the address right. Then I actually take that Word document, create a PDF, and take that PDF and stick it into my ACT software, which is a different software, and then print it out and mail it off to the borrower, which is crazy. And,
yeah, sounds like a lot of steps. I mean, that's actually something that we'll have our triggers, right? And that's kind of what triggered me to create the Note dashboard, Mike. When it was taking me like half an hour every time I was creating a loan modification agreement or a forbearance agreement, I just kind of figured there's got to be a better way to do this. And as you saw, it's basically like 2 clicks and the document is generated.
Yeah. Now one thing, and I totally agree, Alberta. It really it just blew me away. Now, how about 3 different people in 3 different locations of the world or the country or whatever working on the exact same borrower simultaneously? How does that? Who gets the override? How does that actually work in the cloud?
That's a good question. So basically, you can't override stuff, right? I mean, there might be like a small possibility, right? That I mean, let's just kind of talk it through the way. So let's say that you're adding comments to the borrower.
Mm-hmm.
When you're making comments, let's say that you call the borrower and at the same time you were generating the letter, right? So it's going to be a matter of like, did the fact that the call happened, did that get recorded first, or did the fact that the letter got sent out, did that get recorded first, right? So there's not going to be a conflict. It's just going to be one comment is added, the other comment is added. As far as in certain screens, if it's an update screen, you might have conflicts, right? So if you're in the detail screen and you change the address, right?
Yeah.
And you happen to be changing the address too, right? Yeah, there's going to be a conflict there. But having said that, the detail screens, the edit screens are not normally where the conflict occurs. Right? I think for the most part, and that's what I from my own experience, right? When we were getting into trouble was when we were getting conflicted information was with the comments, right? When we were doing things with the borrower, right? So the way that we were handling things before, we had an Excel spreadsheet for each borrower, and people would open up the spreadsheet, make their comments, and save it. We were using Dropbox. Okay, the way that works in Dropbox is you open up the Excel spreadsheet, and then maybe my partner would open it up too, and we would get conflicted copies, right? In this case, it's not going to happen. Right? Like, you're going to make a comment, I'm going to make a comment, and it's just a matter of like who makes the comment first. But yeah, there's not going to be conflicts when information is getting added. The only potential place for conflict is in the detail in the modification screens, right? So like the detail screen would be one of them.
Sure.
Obviously, with the letter generation, obviously there's not going to be any conflict.
Excellent. Excellent. So it's real time. I mean,
Yes.
I say I just talk to the borrower, and that is going to. I don't have to hit refresh or synchronize or anything like that for my guy in California to see that.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. Instantaneous. Yep.
I love it. Mark, I put you back on, and
Okay.
Where are you at with your questioning?
Yeah, I'm done. I didn't know whether Alberto, whether you wanted to go through how does the pricing work? Is it a subscription? What's your model? Is it a subscription-based model with a company? For our company, where we have 3 individuals, how does that get set up in your with your system?
Okay, so let's go through that. Really quick, before I touch on that, I just wanted to show people a few more things, you know,
Okay.
like basically like the free stuff, right? So we talked about the capability that for the first time ever, I'm opening up the Note Exchange to people to post their notes for free and sell their notes for free in the Note Exchange. The other thing that we have is and this is actually, I have to thank Mike Rosica for helping me out with this. We have a directory, which is a resource that's chock full of the different things that the different vendors that we use in this business. So, for example, and the list is up there: door knockers, attorneys, banks, education providers. So, for example, if we go to education, let's see who shows up there.
Scott Carson.
Oh, Mike Rosica. What do you know? But yeah, I mean, like, and Mike helped me put together this directory of attorneys, actually. So if I for the vendor side, if I put in attorney and I want to get somebody, let's say in Alabama, right, let's see what happens there. So it gives me the list of attorneys, and this list of attorneys, these are people that we have used in the past. These are just not something that, you know, we went to the
Google it.
to the web, Google that, and who's there. I mean, these are like, you know, live, real attorneys that we've had experience working with.
So this is kind of a live database that's constantly
live
improving
database.
and working. And
Yep.
if I used Amy
Yep.
Barber and I thought that she was horrible, I would contact you and.
Yeah, we could take it off in a heartbeat. I don't like, because this is you know, as I said, right, this is there's no login required or anything like that. I don't necessarily like putting a bad comment, right? I don't want to say, oh, I mean, Robert, like she sucks, right? I don't want to do something like that. But we could take them down instantly. So if somebody has a bad experience with somebody, I have no qualms about taking people off the directory. So you know, feel free to use this resource. This is a list that of attorneys that we've used, that Mike has used, that other people in the business have used. We have a cute little calculator if you want to calculate different payment plans, right? So let's say that you know, I want to see. I'm doing a workout with the homeowner. I want to see how it looks if I reduce their payment to $400 and reduce their interest to 6%. How many payments are they gonna be making? You know, so number of payments 197. What if I change it to 5%? I thought I did it wrong, but it's doing it pretty quick. So yeah, 5%, it reduced the payments a little bit, and so forth, right? So if you want to calculate your payments, you can come here. And we also we publish the letters that we're using, right? So if you want to get an example of a follow-up letter, you can come here and look at the actual letters and copy it from there. But yeah, as as you can imagine, I mean, you just like Mike was saying, you can definitely come here and get the letters, but there's you're still going to have to, copy the text, change the letter, and so forth. The only way to really kind of do it quickly is through software that allows you to do that. Not necessarily Notedashboard, but some piece of software that allows you to merge the name
Populate,
with the, exactly.
Nice.
And, okay, so now pricing, right? Let's go to that. The way that we price the software is there's no per user cost. There's no per, you can have unlimited users and you can have unlimited companies, right? We price it based on the number of active notes that you have in the system, right? What I mean by active notes, so let's say that you have a note that you bought and sold 3 years ago, right? You don't want to delete that note from the system, like Notedashboard doesn't allow you to delete anything, but you can inactivate it, right? And so you can keep the history, you can still view it, you can still see it there, but then now it becomes an inactive note, right? So we charge it on the number of active notes that you have in the system. So basically, when you get to the higher numbers, when you get to 100 notes, it's priced at $1 per note per month, right? So if you have 300 notes in the system, that would be $300 a month. For the lower numbers, it's a little bit higher, right? As I said, I don't want someone that has five notes. I mean, honestly, like if you only have 5 notes, you're probably better off doing the Excel way, right? It's not worth going to something like the Notedashboard, right? But yeah, so we're trying to target that middle tier, people that have 30, 40, 100 notes, 500 notes, and that's the pricing. As we mentioned, if you sign up through this phone call and through Mike, just say in your email when you contact us that you heard us on the Mike call, and we will waive the upload fee for uploading your notes into the system. Does that answer your question?
It sure
Mark?
does. It sure does.
Okay. Great.
So for the smaller investor, when does it start to make sense? At 30 or at 20, or what's your opinion on that?
Well, I mean, I of course we'll take anybody, right? And that's why we have pricing for them as well, right? But I don't. The reason that we didn't price it at $1 per note per month for the quote unquote little guy is normally they're the ones that are going to need the most hand holding. So I don't mind doing that, but I can't price it at $1 per note per month for those guys. So now, having said that, we'll treat every customer the same. I mean that we have a lot of expertise not only in the software business but also in the note business. So I mean I don't know what your experience is with me, Mike, but I think I've always picked up the phone, right? So yeah, we'll treat everybody equally.
Okay.
Even if you're a little guy or a big guy. But yeah, I would say like 10 notes, 15 notes, 20 notes. That's probably when it starts making sense.
Excellent. Okay. Well, the reason I asked, I've got students who are just starting to bite off a couple of notes, and I'd like them to experience the usefulness of this, so that when they start finding investors and raising capital and going out and starting their funds, which they're planning on, they're already familiar with the system, and now it's up and running. And so
yeah, I mean, I don't want to put anybody down, right? We've all started with one note, right? We've all started with our one pool. I mean, I guess there's a little bit of there's something to be said, right? To kind of do the first few notes the hard way, where you actually spell out make the changes to the loan forbearance agreement, so that you kind of really pay attention to the first couple to make sure that you know what you're doing. But after a while, it can start getting pretty tedious, and that's where Notedashboard comes in, to get
Excellent.
the tediousness out of it.
Now, would it pay for 3 investors that have separate LLCs to to get together and each guy has 3 notes, let's say, 4 notes. Would it pay for them to go in and create 3 different companies and work out of one database? Would that help your system or hurt your system, or what do you think?
I would be fine with that. I would have no problem with that if somebody did a joint venture and said, hey, I want to save myself a couple cycles. You have 10 notes, I have 10 notes. Let's shoot to get the lower pricing. That'll be fine. I would have no problem with that.
Excellent. Okay, let me look through my question box here real quick. Mark, are you good with your questions?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Questions. No, I think we have it covered, guys. Well, great presentation, Alberto. It's very powerful, and I really appreciate you taking the time to show it to my people. And Mark, obviously your input was invaluable. And,
well, thanks for having me on and let me monopolize the seminar.
Well, not that you monopolize it. You're in a real life situation where you need to do something and do it pretty quick. I just thought it was, after talking to you today, I thought it was a good fit. And, last minute for you to decide to jump on here, and I appreciate that. That was pretty cool.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to your students and the No Conference members. Thank you, Mark, for the useful questions. If anybody wants to get a hold of me, just go to notedashboard.com. The email is info@notedashboard.com, and the phone number is also there. I don't know if anybody can see it in the screen. It's 1-800-341-9980, and I'd be happy to answer anybody that has any questions about the software.
I think that's the number that I always call, and I always say, yeah, I just got this letter in the mail, and I'd like to pay off my mortgage. And boy, I get a real perky person on the other side of the phone.
Yeah, I mean, just one last thing, Mike, too. I mean, I think maybe, do you mind if I really quickly plug Nick's event for this weekend?
Oh, yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, just for anybody else that's still on the call, Nick Tang is going to have an event this weekend. Both Mike and myself are going to be presenters. I'm going to be talking about the software. Mike is going to be talking about anything and everything related to note investing. It's in, what town is it again, Mike?
It's actually in Secaucus, but it's the Meadowlands. Look up the Clarion Hotel Meadowlands. Go to noconference.com. There's a link. I think the pricing has actually gone up on that thing. We're getting close to the limit of people that are allowed to get into that, so I think the numbers went up. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that event. I was lucky enough to have Nick reach out to me and ask me who I think should be presenting, and of course I brought out all my good buddies, and Nick would send me an email. What do you think about this guy? And I'm like, yeah, definitely. And so I use it to my advantage, because now it's my reunion to see all my old buddies from
Yeah, I think if they go through your website too, they can get a discount for the event, right? Is that correct?
Yes, yeah.
That's correct. Yeah, I did that. $25 off. Thanks, Mike.
Hey, no problem. I smell a cocktail in the.
Yeah.
But no, it's really going to be a great event, and it's strictly content, and Nick always puts on a great event. I think he overdid it. He's got 60 speakers or something, and there's only 80 people going, and 60 of them are speakers. So it's really more like a like a note speaker convention, or it's going to be
like
awesome.
A mastermind. I think I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be pretty.
Yeah, it's going to be the best one yet, and he never puts on a bad one. So yeah, so anybody who can make it out to the East Coast, do it. And so again, gentlemen, thank you for participating. Thanks everyone for being on the call tonight. Hopefully you can, if you have some feedback, of course, send it to mike@noconference.com. Any questions or good feedback or bad, I'll take them both. Hopefully you're enjoying these presentations. I plan on keeping them going throughout the year. And if there's any subjects or topics that you want me to cover on these webinars, feel free to reach out to me as well. And also, I've kind of opened up my phone lines for the next week or two to talk to investors. I ended up talking to Mark today, and that's why he was able to jump on this call tonight. And Mark, I appreciate you jumping on.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the invite. Thank you.
Taking the time to reach out. I know you've been hanging around with No Conference for quite a while, so cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Good
Mike.
night. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.